everyone. Welcome to episode 17 of the Girly Nerd Podcast. This is the podcast where we talk about all fun things, pop culture, movies, TV, theme parks, all that stuff. I am Marianne, also known as the Girly Nerd. And today's episode, I'm joined once again by my good friend, Darin Ludberg of Nostalgia Casts and Back to Bluey. And we are going to be doing something a little bit different where we're talking about a list of my own. And Darin is going to interview me a little bit, ask me questions about why I enjoy each movie. And these are my favorite films of the 21st century. So films from 2000 onward. And Darin already on his channel already did a list of this, so it wasn't just me just going, oh, I just want to talk about my movies. He has his own list that he talked about on his.
That's still good. That's still a good reson to do this. Yeah. Just be able to listen to you, so no problem.
So I will put a link to that in the description for everyone to go check out. But thank you for agreeing to be my guest, especially for something different. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's on that episode. It's funny. I hate lists. I hate making my own lists because they change. Like right now, I can't even remember what I put on that list because if I think about it, it'll probably be different. I don't know. I looked up the list and I'm like, oh, I forgot I put that one on my. So we did that because Tarantino released a top 25 and it hit the controversy button like you wouldn't believe. I think it's just because people are biased against Tarantino and anything the man says is just going to drive people absolutely insane. And so they were just attacking his choices. And Johnny and I were just looking at this going, they're his choices. Why are you freaking out about this stuff? Make your own list. A list should always be a conversation starter, not like a be all end all. You know what I mean? It's like, we had you on for the Rocketeer for our 90s Palooza season, and then I had you put together a list of top 10 90s movies, which you did. And the whole point of having guests on our podcast is so I can get to know you, right? And a list is a great way to do that. I don't understand how people look at a list and shut down like, oh, I can't believe that she has Ocean's 11 on her list. I can't believe she has a Pride and Prejudice movie on her list. This is just ridiculous. I'm not gonna have anything to do with that. And I'm like, a list, we all watch movies subjectively. Every movie that we watch, we have a reaction to because of the lives that we've led, the people we've met, the experiences that we've had to get us to have that conversation. It's so boring if you expect somebody to have the exact same list as you. Like, that's not, all you do is you go, huh, that's funny, and then you move on and you play the next video game. It shuts off like conversations and getting to know you. So I just think lists are a great way to get to know somebody's tastes. And I don't care if you have a certain movie on there that I don't like, or I don't care if a movie that I love doesn't make your number one. That's not the point of these lists. And so that's why we put that list together. And I just thought when you reached out and said, hey, because of your episode, I put together my own 25. Would you like to talk about this? I'm like, sure, but I'm not doing a 25 list. So that's just going to be like an existential nightmare. The 10 was already too much.
It's hard
for my brain. It is hard.
I had a lot of trouble. I had a lot of trouble doing it because so what I did was I went through each year and I looked at all the movies that were that came out that I liked and made like a long list. And then from those, I picked 20. And it's a little bit of a cheat because there's maybe a few movies I like a little bit more than a couple that made on my list. But I wanted to like have a variety and like have like, I only wanted to have like one superhero movie. So I picked like the one I like the most and things like that. So I wrote down a whole bunch more that I will just, at the end, I'm just going to name a whole bunch just to tell people. I also love these too. And there's even more than I wrote down, but
it's too, our tastes vary so wildly that it's hard to bottle them up. You know what I mean?
And it was hard to order it too.
Yeah, I bet.
Very difficult.
Yeah, again, I cheated.
I like these all kind of the same, but
exactly. I know for a fact that I cheated from usually when I put lists together, I try to do like I organize them by genres, like to be a good representation of what we had over the 25 years. So I like that you said that some of these, like you like more than this, but you do want to have a representation. Again, one of the things I didn't do, like you said, I didn't want to have 2 or 3 superhero movies on the list, but then I didn't also want to have too many animation movies. I just wanted a broad spectrum of things. So I like that you're organizing it that way.
Yeah, and that was an interesting approach, doing like genre. I didn't do that, but I can understand though that mentality. It makes sense.
Well, again, Marianne, it's our brains that make us do so. That was only way I could wrap my brain around doing something like that. And so you have, again, it's not just the movies that we pick, right? It's also why we pick them and what order we pick them. Our brains have to work in a certain way that appeals to us. And again, the whole point of this conversation is I want people to know you and get to know you from these movies. And that's what I'm interested in. So that's kind of why I wanted to absolutely talk to you about these 25 movies.
Yeah. It's only 20. It's not 25.
Oh, 20. Okay. Well, 25 with honorable mentions. 20. That's good. Okay. So we'll eliminate about an hour.
Yeah.
About an hour off this episode.
I'm going to mention my extra ones at the very end. I won't start with those. I'll just start with my number 20, which is Murder on the Orient Express. I forgot to write down the years to all these, but it's 2000, I want to say 17, I think.
Okay.
I think so. And that's the first Kenneth Branagh, Hercule Poirot, Agatha Christie movie that he's done. He's done 3 of them. I like all 3, but I like this one the most. I had never seen any Poirot movie before, so I had no preconceived notions going in. And that one has such an interesting twist ending that I didn't see coming. And it's been made before, so I haven't seen, I think in the 70s, I hadn't seen that before.
Right.
And I loved, well, for one thing, I love movies that have like amazing ensemble casts. And this one has like a great cast. I mean, you got Johnny Depp, but he's only in a really small amount of it because he's the one that gets killed.
Yeah.
And
everybody, I bet a lot of people are happy about that.
Well, he's a terrible person. Yeah. But then, there's Judi Dench and Daisy Ridley. Who else is in it? Penelope Cruz, Leslie Odom Jr., Josh Gad. Who else is in it? Michelle Pfeiffer. She's great. What's her name from that won the Oscar? Olivia Williams.
Okay.
I'm forgetting.
Judi Dench already?
Judi Dench, yeah. I'm forgetting someone. But
Olivia
Derek Jacobi, I think.
Yep.
But it's a beautiful looking movie. Has beautiful cinematography and the way it's directed. So Kenneth Branagh directed it too. In addition to being Poirot, he's got I think people either love or hate it. And his take on it, like especially like how pronounced his mustache is. It's like really like huge, but it doesn't bother me. And I thought he was great. And I think he's a really good director in general. And I love it. I love murder mysteries. I have since I was little. I would watch like detective shows with my grandma. And so that sort of got me into it. And I needed to have at least I have a few, I think. I needed to have at least one murder mystery on my list.
Okay.
Oh, your picture froze.
Oh, am I?
Now it's fine. Okay.
Okay, good. You asked me, I like that you gave me your list, and then by the way, were there any on here? My one qualm with doing a top whatever for the century is that there was a brief 5-7 year stint where I stopped watching movies. I just didn't care about movies anymore, and so I missed a bunch, and so I was hesitant about doing anything. But looking at the list, I was like, oh, there's only maybe 6 or 7 major movies that I haven't seen that everybody got a lot of attention. Unfortunately, Orient Express it's on my list because I love Kenneth Branagh. I think he's one of my favorite actors. I love watching him. I think he's better. Whenever he does Shakespeare, he's pristine. Like he knows his Shakespeare. A lot of times when he does other things, he relies too much on the Dutch angles and a little bit odd stuff. And I think Haunting in Venice, from what I understand, is the most stylish out of these 3. But I'd seen the Yeah. I've seen the 74 Murder on the Orient Express, and that's where Sidney Lumet movie, and that's where, again, you talk about the twist. I thought that was really fun. But so,
Mhm.
and I guess I made up for it by watching the Knives Out movies, which are kind of the same thing. You know, Benoit Blanc is a Hercule Poirot, right? He's a version of
Mhm.
that, a version of Sherlock Holmes. He's a version of all these things. And so I kind of lean more towards the Knives Out movies. But like I said, these are on my list. Like you said, I love that they're ensemble movies. So it's great that you have a murder mystery represented.
Mhm. And it's not, obviously it's not Shakespeare, but it's his character's very dramatic.
Yeah.
He's very melodramatic. So it's like next step below it almost. And he's very persnickety and precise. Like the whole beginning of the movie is he has to eat eggs that are exactly the same size. And
Interesting.
yeah, it's great. And yeah, like I said, of the three, I like it the best, but I think all of them are good. And if I was ranking them, I'd go Murder on the Orient Express, Death on the Nile, Haunting in Venice. So the order they've come out. But
Yeah.
it's good. Yeah, I recommend checking it out. He does do kind of the stylistic things to a degree, like overhead shots and these long, grand, sort of sweeping things. But it's nice. I like it.
Okay. Just very reliable, that kind of thing. Okay, so
Yeah.
what's your number 24?
Or
No, sorry, you're number 19. I'm still
19.
stuck on the 25.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, number 19. What's your number 19?
A very, very long title. The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. It's long, complicated title. Makes sense when you watch the movie.
Mhm.
It's based on a book, and it takes place in World War II, like post World War II, on the island of Guernsey, off England. So it's like post German occupation, basically. So they show flashbacks about when they were this group of friends were walking home at night, and the German soldiers stopped them, like, what were you doing? Because I think they had a ham or something that you weren't supposed to have. So they're like, oh, we had a book club. And then they name it this long thing because they had this like potato peel thing that they were carrying.
Right.
And they just sort of then formed this like book club. And Lily James plays an author who finds out about the club and writes a letter to one of the guys in it. And he writes back to her, and it's such a sweet, lovely story. It's really about it's about the love of like literature and what books can do and bring people together and the sense of community.
Mhm.
But then it's also about like love and second chances and overcoming, tremendous like despair and things like that.
Mhm.
Love all the people in it. It's almost like a little mini Downton Abbey
Yeah.
movie because
Mhm.
it has Lily James, who was obviously Lady Rose. It has Matthew
Right.
Good, who
Right.
was Henry Talbot. It has Penelope Wilton, who was Mrs. Crawley, and it
Love
has
her.
Jessica Brown Findlay, who was Lady Sybil.
Yeah.
And it also has Michael. I'm not sure how to say his last name. Michael
Huisman? Yeah,
Husan,
something.
something like that. And Glenn Powell's in it as well. What's funny is, Glenn Powell's kind of like the new like it man now,
Right.
and he doesn't get the girl. And it's like, can you imagine? It's like he's in a movie where he doesn't get the girl.
Yeah. Well, this is early
And his
in his
character's
career.
perfectly nice, but
Right.
yeah, it's kind of funny to think about now. That he's the play second fiddle to Michael Husan. I don't know how to say his name. But I really love Lily James in general, and this is probably my favorite thing she's done.
Mhm.
It's just really lovely. I recommend checking it out. Again, I always pay attention to like the cinematography and the locations and stuff, and this is really beautiful. It's directed by Mike Newell, who's done lots of good
Right.
films. Yeah. So
Yeah. Donnie Brasco, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, like a lot
Mhm.
of Donnie Brasco is a wonderful. Wonderful is a weird name for a gangster movie, but it's a great, again with Johnny Depp. It's
Yeah.
a great. Al Pacino performance. Anyway, if you haven't seen that one, Donnie Brasco is great. But
I haven't seen it, but I want to. Yeah.
Okay, it's a heartbreaker. I'm not trying to spoil anything, but it's a hard movie to watch. But this is another movie. When you ask me which ones haven't you seen, and this is the movie that this is another one that I hadn't seen yet. Which is what Miss Pettigrew Lives for a Day, which we talked about during our Amy Adams episode. I thought for sure you would have that one on this list, and I guess this is kind of another period drama. but you're saying that they're completely different. One's a drama, one's more like a
Miss Pettigrew's really light and frothy, and this is real serious.
Okay. During the German occupation, right?
Yes, and Jessica Brown Finley's character falls in love with a German soldier.
Okay.
So
kind of like falling in love with the chauffeur.
Yes, but worse, obviously. Well, but as you know, it shows how a lot of these people, they weren't bad. They're just, it's because of where they were born, basically, you know. And it's complex. I'll just say that it's complex and deep, and really, really good. Every time I watch it, I like it more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, having a bunch of the Downton Abbey people in it is
oh yeah, if you like Downton Abbey, you'll love seeing all these people again.
Right. Well, you said the title's weird, but it makes sense in the context of
it does.
Okay.
So we're on to my number 18 is Ocean's 11. And that's just, I went back and forth between, am I going to put this in my top 20? And I did, because I wanted something that was just like a fun, like caper movie. Because I enjoy movies like this in general, and this is probably my favorite one. I love all the Ocean's movies. I think they're all really fun, but this one is still like my favorite, still the best one. And as someone who loves classic movies, I actually prefer this one to the one from the 60s, which even though it has the Rat Pack, and I love Frank Sinatra and I love Dean Martin, I love Sammy Davis Jr., I think this one is just better in many ways. It flows better. It has more energy. It's funnier. I love the Steven Soderbergh's direction, the way it does, like the cross, like not cross cutting. It shows two things happening at once, basically.
Right.
These people are over here. These people are over here. That sort of thing, I feel like helps the movie flow, and keeps it from being like slow or boring. Not that it would be, but I think that adds to it. And of course, again, it's another amazing ensemble. I mean, it's like movie star upon movie star upon movie star. In my opinion, this is kind of like peak George Clooney, peak Brad Pitt, like handsome wise. Like they never looked better than they did in this movie, in my opinion. And
they make a great couple.
They do. They're really funny together. I think it's hilarious how Brad Pitt is always eating, no matter what. He's always eats stuff in his face.
And then at the end, he has the indigestion. Did you know? Yes. I always love that as a gag.
and Matt Damon is funny in this awkward part, which is kind of different for him. And love seeing Andy Garcia in the kind of this stuffed shirt villain role, and Julie Roberts is a small part, but I love her in it. And Bernie Mac's hilarious, and I love Carl Reiner in it. Everyone is just, it's so fun. It's just fun. If I want to like put on something light and like breezy, but I want it to have like a sense of like not really mystery, but it's like a caper, I'll put on this. I will return to this one a lot. And what's funny is a lot of times if I put this on, then I go, oh, I gotta watch the other ones now. And I just end up watching all three of them. I've only seen the one with the ladies one time, but I did like it a lot.
Okay.
What are your thoughts? You like this movie, right?
I love this movie. If I were to put together a top 10 based purely on entertainment, like nothing else, just
Mhm.
what a movie that just is a super fun time, Ocean's 11 would be near the top. This is
Yeah.
one of those movies where if I'm channel surfing and I happen upon it, I will just stop. That's an
Yeah.
automatic putting down my remote, just watching from wherever I'm at, right? You mentioned something about this is just their peak George Clooney, peak Brad Pitt. This is a movie star movie. Like it's
Yes.
there's nothing like deep about it. There's nothing like groundbreaking. It's just you're watching movie stars be movie stars. And the original Ocean's 11 I don't think works as an actual movie because it is a hangout. It literally feels like they just filmed the Rat Pack carousing around Vegas and then they put together a movie from it. And this
Yeah.
one has a better plot. And yeah, it's again very star based, but it feels like a movie. It doesn't feel like a
Mhm.
vacation, like a home video like they made. And again, it's just they've got so many funny, humorous things that aren't laugh out loud, but it's just so entertaining and it's
Yeah.
so droll. It's just my absolute kind of movie, and I love how everything melts. Ocean's 8 obviously is it's not Soderbergh, so it's gonna have a different feel for it.
Mhm.
But I just love how everybody interacts and, Clooney and Pitt finishing each other's sentences is so
Yeah.
funny. It's great. From top to bottom, this movie is just like I said, it's the ultimate hangout movie that I can just put on and just feel good while I'm watching it.
And it's true. It's like I feel like it's the kind of movie you don't really have too much of anymore. I mean, the
Mhm.
idea of movie star selling movies is kind of like
Yeah, it's
faded away,
sad.
which is really sad because it's like that's a nice thing, where it's about the actors. I mean, it's about the story too, but it's about the people in it, and they're the ones that people are going to see.
Mhm.
They're the draw, and nowadays it's kind of the opposite. And
Yeah.
I mean, I think it'd be nice if it was like just a healthy mix of the two. It doesn't have to be one or the other. But
Mhm.
unfortunately, it's gone the other way lately. But
Yeah, that was a time, especially the 90s. The 90s were a time where the IP was the star. It didn't matter what the movie was about. You went to go see it because George Clooney was in it. And
yeah,
there's still movies out there like this, but they're the ones that are going straight to streaming now. I shudder to
yeah,
think of a world where Ocean's 11 would go straight to streaming because that was just a fun theatrical experience.
I know. I didn't see it in the movie theater, but I wish I had.
Yeah, good
But
fun audience movie.
I don't remember when I first saw it, but I loved it
Yeah,
instantly, and I'm glad they're gonna make another one. I don't know what they're gonna do with it,
right.
but I'm all
Without
for
Bernie Mac,
it.
though.
I'm all for it because
Right.
it'll be fun. It'll be interesting too because a couple of the people have passed away, so
Yeah. Yep.
it's like I'm sure they'll address that and everything.
Well, I think Clooney said that it's gonna be about aging, like, how are these older
Mm,
versions of the characters how are they supposed to operate? Again, Carl Reiner and Bernie Mac no longer being with us, that'll be hard, but,
mhm.
it'd be interesting to hear them talk about it. What's your number 17? What's next on your list?
It is The Hunger Games: Catching Fire.
Mhm.
Um, The Hunger Games, it's interesting. So I went to um I went to college as an English major, and then I got my master's degree in English as well.
Okay.
So I've always been a big reader, but and then I have a core friend group from college who are like they're even bigger readers than I am. So they were reading the books. I haven't read the books, but they like voraciously read them, love them, and they kept telling me, if you're not going to read the books, at least watch the movies. I'm like, I don't know. I don't I'm not a big fan of depressing dystopian stuff in general.
Okay.
I don't like anything so bleak where you're like, it just feels hopeless. But I'm like, okay, let me give it a chance. So I watched the first one just by myself and I was just blown away. I'm like, this is really good. Um, One, Jennifer Lawrence, I just think is amazing in the role. It's like she was
Mhm.
born for this part. And then everyone else is good in it. And then did I watch the second one by myself at home? I think I watched the second one at home too.
Okay.
And then I love that one even more. So, and then I watched the last two in the movie theaters with my friends. So, I Catching Fire is my favorite one. I love all of them, but that one's my favorite one. And I think because one thing, it's a surprise that all of a sudden they're going to have to be going back and doing the Hunger Games all over again. You think, "Oh, we won, we won't have to do this anymore." And then,
Yeah.
they're like, "No, you gotta do it all over again." And It
There's a
has so
hierarchy going on.
it has so much twists with all the different alliances and what's going on, who can you trust. I love all the cast additions, Philip Seymour Hoffman is really great, and what's his name, Sam
Claflin?
Coffin. Love that character so much.
Finnick, right?
Finnick, yeah, I love Finnick. Jenna Malone is so great. And then Jeffrey Wright, is that his name? Jeffrey Wright, love him too. So I love, like I said, I love all the Hunger Games movies. They're so compelling and so interesting, and it's amazing the kind of acting you're getting in these movies. Honestly, you think maybe you wouldn't always get the best kind of performances in a something like this, something about a young adult novel or something, because if you think about comparatively, people think of like Twilight or something, which is I mean, people love it. It's not for me. I found the acting cringe in it.
Yeah.
So, and
it's like in that movie, nobody took it seriously. Is the problem?
Yeah. But Hunger Games is obviously very serious, but very thoughtful and interesting. And it is serious. It is very bleak. Sad stuff happens. I'm crying, but I've watched it the series I think 4 times, and every time I'm just like, God, these are so good. They're so good. And but Catching Fire, yeah, my favorite one. Although I hate what happens to Cinna. Breaks my heart. I mean, you understand, that psychological warfare where she has to see him basically die in front of her right before she has to go compete. But great film. I think this is believe. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is this your favorite of these movies too?
It is. Good memory. The Tarantino, just bringing it right back. He got in trouble again because The Hunger Games is known as a ripoff of Battle Royale. I'm going to get his name wrong. It's the Kinji Fukasaku.
I never heard of that.
It's the same thing. It's a bunch of kids that end up going out and trying to kill each other. It's the same exact plot. I don't know if it's an exact copy. There are other movies that I like around this time. There's an M. Night Shyamalan movie that ripped off a book, and the similarities to that are a little too similar, where you're like, I don't know. Because a lot of times when there's plagiarism that goes on, Marianne, it's like, yeah, some people can have the same idea. It's just the details. If you get a little too detailed copying, then you're like, hold on a second. And I think, again, you look at the Shirley Jackson story, The Lottery, it's the same kind of thing. It's like you pick somebody and then they're stoned to death. That's what the basic gist of this is. So there's different, I can understand why you think it's a kind of a ripoff. I think it's more of another kind of version of that story. I don't think of it as a ripoff here. But when I saw the first one, I didn't see the first one in the theater. Again, it's weird. It's Gary Ross. It's the same guy that directed Ocean's 8, which Gary Ross directed Dave, which is one of my favorite comedies of the 90s.
I didn't remember that.
He wrote Big, which is one of my favorite comedies of the 80s. I just think as a director, he's good, but The Hunger Games was good and it was solid, but it wasn't like, it didn't wow me enough to see Catching Fire in a theater. And so we watched Catching Fire at home, and Catching Fire was the one that, I like this a lot. And so that's when we went to go see Mockingjay 1 and 2 in a theater. But I just think this is the one that works as an actual movie. I like Francis Lawrence as a director, even though he's mostly just directing Hunger Games movies. His Constantine with Keanu Reeves, I think, is a very stylish comic book movie that gets better every time I watch it, and stands out more among everything that was released around that time. But I don't know. I just feel like this is flashier, it's more stylish. There's a lot more going on. I love that the Johanna and the we just mentioned his name, Claflin, the Finnick. I love that they start the movie off being rivals, but then they end up being like compatriots. I love all that. It's about images. The Philip Seymour Hoffman, the Heavens Bee, is that his name? Plutarch.
Plutarch Heavens Bee, yeah.
He turns out to be not a bastard, right? He turns out to be one of the people leading the rebellion. And oddly enough, this is a movie that I know that I liked it, but I didn't remember exactly why. So I watched the last 40 minutes of it before we recorded. And again, it reminded me of it. The main thing is Philip Seymour Hoffman, man. Breaks my heart that we don't have him anymore.
I know.
what's so great, and that the one thing I did remember is I think I really like Philip Seymour Hoffman in this because he plays a rascal. He's very rascally in this.
Mhm.
And yeah, he can be a threat to like Tom Cruise or anything, or you know, anything like that. But I just love Philip Seymour Hoffman. He can be as playful as anybody. When he turns on that playfulness, that snark, and that he has that wry smile, there's nothing. It's just so enjoyable. And so I love seeing him in this. But again, this is a movie. You're right about Jennifer Lawrence. She's very an action star, the 2000s action star, right? She carries herself well. She's a great actress, great action star. In anything she does is basically she's good at that kind of thing. But yeah, I think out of all the movies, Catching Fire, even though it ends on a cliffhanger, it works best for me as an actual movie.
Oh, it's a great cliffhanger. We're like,
Yeah.
oh man, of course she looks directly at the camera and
Steals herself, and you
yeah,
know exactly what she's thinking,
yeah,
what she's gonna do. Oh,
yeah.
great way
It's
to
so
end it.
good.
Yeah.
And because I didn't know the books, I didn't know Philip Seymour Hoffman's character was going to end up being a good guy. So the whole time you're like, God, I hate him so much.
Yeah.
And he's so good at that. And so when there's that turn, you're like, oh, this is so interesting.
Yeah, I'm glad he's on our side, right?
Yeah. And I didn't mention him, but Woody Harrelson, I think, is really good too. I love that character. And yeah, the Hunger Games. I mean, it took a while for me to get on the hype train basically for them, but
yeah, there are series I can stand up for. You're right.
Yeah, I haven't seen the prequel one,
Songs and Snakes. Yeah,
I haven't seen that.
Neither have I.
But now my niece has gotten into she's reading the books and she loves them, and I'm like, oh, this is good. But she's still young. I'm like, do you want to watch the movie? I'm like, it's kind of dark. She's like, no, I can watch it. I'm like, are you sure? She's like, no, I can watch it. We'll see. That's up to her mom. So
okay. Well, that'd be fun. You can lead her through those. Yeah. Okay. What's your number 16?
My number 16 is a movie we talked about at length on our very first episode, our Tom Hanks one. It's Catch Me If You Can.
Right.
This is, like I said, I haven't seen every Steven Spielberg movie.
Okay.
There are some I need to see. But of the ones I've seen a lot. This one is my favorite.
Okay.
Even though I love other ones, I love Indiana Jones and Jurassic Park and, but this is the kind of Leonardo DiCaprio I wish we got all the time.
Okay. Why?
Because I know he's a wonderful actor. He's so good at being serious. But there's just lightness and charm to him in this movie that he's so good at. That I'm like, you could do that occasionally too. You could trade off between doing these really dark, serious stuff and do something maybe a little bit lighter, because there's still, heavy, dramatic moments he gets to play in this movie,
right.
but he also can work on that charm and that charisma, and he has a lot to do, because it's like you sometimes forget that his character's really young. He's still only 17 years old or something like that when he runs away, and he's pretending to be a pilot and a doctor, and he falls in love, and then I love Tom Hanks, really kind of a different kind of part for him, I would say. Definitely a different kind of accent. the Boston accent, and I love how they play off of each other and develop this rapport. And even though he's chasing after him and is trying to arrest him, that you feel like he cares about him, especially when he figures out he's a kid.
Yeah, he's a father figure, which Frank needs.
And it's like he's always calling him at Christmas, because he's alone and sad, basically, because his own father, he has the problems and stuff. And Christopher Walken is so good in this movie too. So good. It kind of breaks my heart, honestly. Especially in that part where he asks him, tell me to stop this. Please tell me to stop doing this. And he's like, I'm not going to do that. I'm like, oh, it's sad. It's sad. Yeah. But it's again, it's kind of like Ocean's 11. There's a style to it that I love. Spielberg is so good at period things, especially I would say, especially like the 40s through the 60s. He's really good at. I love the music. Love the music. This John Williams jazzy,
jazziest.
That jazzy, the finger snap score, but then there's more like, melancholy music too. That's great. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love everything about this film. Yeah.
It's great. Obviously, we talked about it at length during the Tom Hanks
Mhm.
episode that we did and the Amy Adams episode that we did. So the
Mhm.
only thing I'll add to it is when you watch The Fabelmans, a lot of Spielberg's movies, when you watch them again, you're like, "Oh, I see why that's in here." And so you have the stuff
Oh.
with the divorced parents and the dad who's kind of at a loss because he doesn't have the free-spirited wife around anymore, and
Mm.
it's Abigail caught in the middle. That's very you watch The Fabelmans, and you're like, "Oh, Catch Me If You Can" makes a lot more sense. And
Okay.
I really push back on people because when this movie came out, I think Ebert was even, "Yeah, this movie doesn't really have any meaning. So get back to meaning, Spielberg." And I'm like, "This is
It has meaning.
really meaningful." Like, especially like I said, especially after you understand what Spielberg's life was like. It's very meaningful. There's a lot of stuff that Spielberg has famously said that making movies is his therapy. And so he does this to
Mm.
kind of get in touch with. So again, very lovely. I love that he uses DiCaprio's boyishness. DiCaprio in this time could have played a 12-year-old as well as a 30-year-old, right? Because he's
Yeah.
so babyish. So
Yeah.
I think Spielberg really tapped into that youthful side of him here.
Mhm. Now, I haven't seen The Fabelmans yet, but I saw that it's streaming finally.
Oh,
I'm gonna watch
it's
it soon.
you're gonna love that one. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely recommend that one. Okay, so you're number 15.
15 is Mission Impossible Fallout.
Mhm.
And I wanted to include at least one mission. I had to include a Mission Impossible movie because I
Mhm.
love the series. I had to debate which one I was gonna pick, honestly,
Okay.
because I kind of love all of them.
Right?
Uh, so it was between Fallout and is it Dead Reckoning? Not the
Mhm.
last. Dead Reckoning, and then Rogue Nation.
Okay.
And because they're all so close, how much I like them.
Mhm.
And well, one, I love the series in general. I think it's one of the best series ever. Minus number two, which I think is just kind of an oddball. It's not terrible, but it's just
Right.
not very good, especially compared to all the rest of them.
That's a
So
lot of people's least favorite one.
yeah,
But
it's just
I still like it. I still like that one.
I don't hate it, but I don't like it that much. Sometimes I'll skip it if I'm watching all of them.
Yeah.
But it's just such a great series. So much energy and fun, and I love the Ethan character, and then I love all the other side characters that continue through the series. Ving Rhames and Simon Pegg and Rebecca Ferguson,
Oh yeah.
and
Yep.
she's great. Now I chose Fallout just because I felt like it was really peak
Mhm.
what they could do, basically. And then I thought Henry Cavill was a really good villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I chose this one. But I mean, I just rewatched Dead Reckoning because I wanted to watch the final Reckoning, and I'm like, oh, maybe I should have picked this one.
Dead
Because
Reckoning has a lot of fun set pieces. Yeah.
I love Haley Atwell a lot. I love her so much. And I like her in the film. And yeah, that end where they had to climb up the train, my God. But
Yeah.
Fallout has the cool stuff with the helicopter, and then it brings in, I love the way that brings in Michelle Monaghan back
Mhm.
in such a kind of melancholy and beautiful way, where it's like you see that there's still love there, but it just was never going to work.
Yeah.
And it's sad that Rebecca Ferguson couldn't do anymore, and that they had to
Mhm.
kill her character, because I loved her in this movie.
Right.
uh, Especially with the scene with Simon Pegg, where they have to figure out how to disarm the thing, and they're trying to save each other basically from
Great stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
I forget that actor's name that plays the villain.
So do I. He's too good to forget his name.
Yeah, he's really good though.
Yeah, he is.
Maybe we're forgetting the character's name, but because there's him and there's Henry Cavill. There's like two villains in the movie.
Right.
But like I said, I love these movies in general. They're so fun. I think it's a shame Jeremy Renner wasn't in anymore, but
Yeah,
I
it's a
think I
scheduling
heard
conflict,
he
I
wanted
guess.
to do spend time with his kids or something
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that. So I'm like, okay, that's a good excuse.
Right.
Um, um,
It's Sean Harris as Solomon Lane.
Sean Harris. Thank you.
Good raspy.
He's not related to Jared Harris, is he?
Yeah, I don't think so. Well, he's
Okay.
English.
So they kind of look like they could be related, but probably not.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't say anything from what I can see. But.
Sometimes, honestly, I mix up Rogue Nation and Ghost Protocol. Someone's like, which one's which?
Right.
And then I'm like, oh, Rogue Nation is with Rebecca Ferguson. Okay.
Yeah.
But Fallout always stands apart because it has Henry Cavill in it. And obviously I like him.
He's very charismatic. He doesn't get a lot of chance to, especially as Superman. He's just this
he doesn't.
He doesn't get a lot of chance to show off his charisma, which Superman needs. I don't know why they didn't let him, but in here he's charming, menacing. You know what I mean? And so he absolutely works in here.
He's so great. And I love the part of the movie where they're imagining the thing with all the trucks going through the tunnel, and you're like, oh, is this really, is this happening? And they're like, oh no, they were just imagining the scenario in their head, and then you see what really happens.
Because Ethan will not kill, like he will not murder.
Yeah, and that part where the female police officer is down there, and it's like he's so desperate, so she doesn't. He's like, I don't want her to die. I don't want her to die. And I really love that moment because I feel like his character is so great because he cares about everyone else more than himself.
Yes.
And I think that's just a really important thing to remember about his character. And they really emphasize that definitely in the final two as well.
Yep.
And I just think I feel like people, they're like, that's a new thing. I'm like, not really. I feel like that was there since the beginning, since the very first film. You see how much losing his team just
shatters him.
Breaks him. So I'm like, and even with the woman that was John Voight's wife, even though she was a villain, even though he's still like sad that she was dead. So
he had feelings for her. Right.
Yeah, he's selfless. He's a selfless character without being like corny. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't feel just like a flat character too. He's interesting and it's like, yeah, he's not like pulling like major acting chops compared to like Jerry Maguire or something, but I think he's excellent in these movies too. I don't think they would work if he was a bad actor. So.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Well, Philip Seymour Hoffman was a villain in the third one. Maybe the best villain and Tom Cruise he stood toe to toe with him. That's how you know that Tom Cruise is good. Yeah, it's funny because when Marianne, when we put this list together, I'm like, this would be great because I'll just interview you and I won't have to talk too much because I'll just get stuff like what you're. And then I'm looking at some of the movies that your list going, oh, I'm going to be talking a lot about that one. But Mission Impossible, it's interesting. Kind of a 3-tiered kind of thing. Is number one for my list for action genre. I did put a Mission Impossible on there because you have in the 2000s. I think when you look at my thing, Marianne, is when you look at movies in the context of the greatest ever. I usually look at, well, where did it start? I have to look at a movie. Where does it start versus how did it end? I can't look at a movie that's copied 80,000 other movies. I have to go to the beginning and see what movie worked from the very beginning and how it made the rules that everybody else follows. Right. So I think with action movies, it's hard because every movie under the sun now, Marianne, is basically a copy of something else. It's just the new feeling that you get from it. But I think that action is one of those things that it can keep reinventing itself and inventing new languages. And so there were, I think, 3 major action franchises during the 2000s that were prominent. There was the Bourne Identity, and there was John Wick, and then there's Mission Impossible. And I had a choice for my list of, okay, I want to pick one of those because what best represents action. I think Bourne Identity and Bourne Supremacy and Bourne Ultimatum created a new visual language for action. I know people don't like the shaky cam, but the way that Paul Greengrass did those movies, it's a new language, and he does it better than people have tried to copy him, and they don't understand why it works so well. And I think that's what made those. But they kind of disappeared after 2004 and became a nothing. John Wick I like, but John Wick is nothing that you've never seen before. It's just Keanu Reeves doing great hand-to-hand stuff, which you can see in Hong Kong movies and everything like it. It's been done right since the beginning, even though I like those. But I think Mission Impossible is one that stuck out because it keeps reinventing itself. It keeps coming up with new things. I'm not too hot on the last one because I think it was more just, oh, let's go back and revisit everything. And even the two biggest set pieces, which is a submarine dive and then the plane thing, the plane stunt, those were done. I think the submarine thing has been done in The Abyss. It's very similar to the James Cameron's The Abyss. And the
Oh,
plane stunt thing is very similar to Fallout, the way that
yeah,
the
it
helicopter
is.
duel. And so I didn't get a rush of, oh, this is new from the last one. What I thought, and again, before I get to my final, the third tier, that I think it's interesting because we look at Ethan Hunt as somebody who's selfless. I think the reason 2 doesn't work, Marianne, and there's the John Woo Dubs thing, he's kind of like satirizing himself, but Ethan Hunt is a jerk in the second one. He's a
Yeah,
selfish
kind of
jerk
a little
that
bit.
puts this girl out, and we talked about it in our Hitchcock episode. It's a remake of Notorious, where the
Right.
spy puts this girl who's got a notorious reputation for sleeping around. He puts her in danger, even though he's in love with her. He doesn't stop it from happening, and she's gonna die.
Mhm.
So he comes off as a jerk, a selfish jerk. He's not sure he tries to save her, but it's like he doesn't have really that conflict that defines him so much in the other ones. And I think maybe that's why that's why we don't like him as much as the second. I don't know. That's just what I think. But the Mission Impossibles, I think it's great that you can have an 8th or 7th episode that's just as good quality-wise as the first one. That's hard to find in a franchise. And I think just peak Mission Impossible, you had Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, and Fallout. Pick
Mhm.
any one of those 3, Marianne, and that's the definition of high
Yeah.
action. Like, this is what an action movie should be. For my list, I picked Rogue Nation just because I love after the Looney Tunes-esque, like, Ghost Protocol, where everything's like a cartoon, which is fun, because it's Brad Bird directing. I think McQuarrie, he directed in Rogue Nation this tight spy thriller that, yeah, it introduces Ilsa Faust and all those characters, and it's very tightly done. It's not a cartoon. That's why I picked Rogue Nation, because it just appeals to me. I love the Sean Harris character in that one. But Fallout, what makes Fallout great and almost like ties maybe Rogue Nation, it's an example of dramatic tension. I think McQuarrie is
Mhm.
defining himself through each movie. Like Rogue Nation, good solid spy thriller. This one is like it's all cards on the table. It's like guns out kind of movie, right? It goes nuts. But the way that each action scene kind of builds on dramatic tension. When you when you've got Ethan in the helicopter fighting Henry Cavill, and it's got Ferguson and Simon Pegg trying to stop
Yeah.
the Solomon character, it keeps building and building and building. So at the very end, there's a part where Benji is almost strangled, and Ilsa cuts the rope, and he lands, and there's a moment of silence, and he gasps. He sits up and gasps, and you're sitting in the theater realizing you've done that same thing. You've been holding your breath this whole time.
Mhm.
Just the way it keeps building action, like complication upon complication upon complication. It's just masterful the way that it does that. Again, if you want to watch an action movie, and I love that you brought up the scene with the cop, Marianne, because I think in an action movie, dialogue is the characters should be defined by their actions, not by what they're saying. So the fact that he's got this cop that gets shot, and yeah, he doesn't want to murder, right? But these other bad guys that come up, they're going to kill her, and that's
Mhm.
what puts he jumps into action, kills those guys because there was an innocent life that was on the line.
Mhm.
That's he made a judgment call, and I love that. It's not said. You get Ethan's character from that
Yeah.
moment. Nothing is said about it. It just shows you exactly what kind of character. I just love that. Again, Fallout is that's what I mean. You could pick Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, and Fallout. Any one of those 3. Yeah, pick one of those. If you're gonna have a Mission Impossible movie on your list.
And I love that. I feel like not just Ethan, all the other characters are pretty well defined, especially for action movies. I
Yes.
feel like they have a lot of personality. You care about them, especially the ones that continue through all the films. And it's interesting you brought up the Bourne movies because I saw them for the first time a few years ago. And I think that they're good. They're entertaining, great action. But I feel like even Jason Bourne, I feel like they're a little flat character-wise,
Mhm.
especially the women.
Yes.
I Julia Stiles, I was like, when I'm watching it, I'm like, is she ever gonna say anything? She's just sitting there. I'm
Yeah.
like, does she have any dialogue? I mean, at least
Mhm.
in the Mission Impossible movies, these women are strong and feisty, and they
Oh my
they
gosh, Ilsa is like he's Ethan's equal. I love
yeah.
her.
So I'm like, the Bourne movies are fine, but you know, if I'm gonna compare, I'm like, I don't. I definitely am not the type of person that always complains about that sort of thing. But I'm like, I didn't like how I felt like Julia Stiles didn't have a personality. I mean, she felt like she was just doing nothing. Basically,
Yeah.
she was just there to service him.
Right.
And
The
they
Franco
don't have to be
Potente
like,
character
yeah,
disappears. They kill her off in Ultimatum.
yeah,
In
she's not even
Supremacy.
that great either. I mean, she
Yeah.
just sort of thrust into it, and you just feel sorry for her, basically.
Right.
But yeah, in the Mission Impossible movies, all the women are great. I mean, yeah, Elsa's great. Haley Atwell's character I love.
Yeah.
Michelle Monaghan, who is very different, obviously, because she's just a regular person, but they all have their own agency and strength to them, which I really appreciate. So
I love that Vanessa Kirby was in there for a couple of them too.
yes, her too. She's so good at being like both, you know what I mean? And she's got
Yeah.
those eyes that are so striking, and then
Mhm.
it's like, oh, she can stare you down. It's like
Yeah.
she's really great. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. Well, I talked a lot. Number
That's
14.
okay.
What's your 14th on the list?
My 14 is P.S. I Love You. So this is a good example. My 14 and 13 are very similar. And we will get to my 13. I love movies that combine like all the emotions. So they can't be easily defined in one genre. Now this one leans more to the drama, but sometimes people will call it a romantic comedy. I don't really, but it is funny. It does have funny moments, and it does have romantic moments, but it's more of a dramatic movie because of the subject matter. I love Gerard Butler. I really love him. So, and I think this,
I know you do.
besides the other one I have on here, this is my favorite movie with him.
Okay.
It's it's the kind of movie he kind of got out of the habit of doing, which I think is a real shame, because now he just basically does action movies, which they're fine. I enjoy them, but it doesn't show his charm and charisma at all, really, and his singing and being able to be funny. And in this movie, his character's probably kind of close to himself in real life to a degree. And though it's sad because his character dies and leaves his wife all these letters to help her grieve, but I just find the concept of that very moving. And I can imagine someone who, I'm not married, but I can imagine if that had happened to me, it's like it just really tugs at my heartstrings, basically. And then I love all the other people in it. I think Hilary Swank is so good in it. Lisa Kudrow is very funny. Gina Gershon's good. Harry Connick Jr., who I love. I've said this many times on many episodes, but I have a very big crush on Harry Connick Jr., and he's great.
You talked about him a lot during your Sandra Bullock.
Yes, I can't help it. I've loved him since I was young, but he's great in this movie. Interesting how he's a singer and he doesn't sing in this movie. I found that kind of interesting. But
did he have a song for Hope Floats?
No, maybe it's a thing he likes to keep separate. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But yeah, I talked a lot about this movie on my Gerard Butler episode with my friend Sarah. But yeah, I've always loved it. Great music. It has a great soundtrack and a great score by John Powell is the name of the composer.
Right.
Pretty landscape. Yeah, pretty landscapes. They go to Ireland. It's a nice movie because it's sad, but you feel really hopeful at the end.
Okay.
Because you feel hopeful that she's going to be okay. It's not that she's going to like fall in love. I love that there's this whole thing where you think maybe she's going to end up with Harry Connick Jr.'s character because he really likes her and she likes him too, but she's just like, I'm not ready for this. And I really like that all of a sudden they go, no, this isn't going to work at all. And it would have been so cliche to put them together. And I really love that they didn't do that they made it about just her learning to let Jerry go and move on, and that she's going to be okay. And she'll always love her husband, but she'll be able to move on. And they had this little tease at the end with the guy she meets in Ireland that knew Gerard Butler's character when they were children.
Mm-hmm.
And but you don't know maybe they'll be together, maybe not. It's just that's not the point of the movie, and that's what I like about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my one caveat with doing like this conversation is I didn't want to talk negatively about any of your choices. I don't want to do that. I want to find the positive stuff. The only thing I will say is out of these movies that I've seen, P.S. I Love You is the one that I didn't remember a thing about. And for me, that's a problem.
Okay.
If I don't remember it, then there's something that was off about this movie. I think looking at the list is, I just don't know, like a lot of romance movies, it really, because they're so, everything's been done before, been there, done that. You really lean on the chemistry between the people. I think everybody in here does a great individual job, but for me personally, I didn't buy any chemistry with Gerard Butler and Hilary Swank. I think maybe that was my main problem with it, that it didn't make an impact on me. But the thing that did make an impact that I did remember is exactly what you talked. I love that it's a movie about her realizing she can move on. Not that she has somebody there that she can move on with. I love that they realize, yeah, there's an attraction here, but it's not anything that we want to pursue, right? And I love that that's how it ends. It's her learning, there's a chance for me elsewhere. I'm not over my husband, but I'm to a point where I can move in the right direction. He wouldn't want me to just be lonely. So I like that that's what the movie ends, how the movie ends, know that it ends on. So.
It's funny you said that though. Me and my friend Sarah, we did that Gerard Butler podcast, and we were both talking about how much we like the chemistry.
Yeah, it depends, right? I mean,
yeah.
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days was one of the most excruciating movie experiences. I didn't like McConaughey at the time. I just thought he was just so grating. Anytime he opened his mouth, I'm like, just stop. I get that you're Southern and you're attractive, but there's got to be more here, man. And I didn't buy any of his with Kate Hudson, But then we talked with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan together. You're dying because they've got so much chemistry, but it's all subjective, right? It just depends. So I'm not going to sit here, Marianne, and say I don't buy their chemistry. Why should you? That's not the point of a list. That's the point that I keep wanting to make. It's why did you like this movie? And you keep making these points over and over again. That's like, yeah, I can absolutely understand why she has this on her list. So again, bravo for that. But if we're gonna move to your next movie, you're talking about a movie that I didn't think the leads had chemistry. We're moving to a movie that I think the leads have so much chemistry that it just works. So what's your number 13?
It's Return to Me. This is it was written and directed by Bonnie Hunt, and she's co-stars in it, and it's with Minnie Driver and David Duchovny. Also has Carol O'Connor, Robert Loggia, Jim Belushi, Eddie Jones, David Alan Grier. Great cast.
What a cast.
I remember very distinctly going to the movie theater with my mom to see this movie, and the beginning of it, we're bawling, crying, bawling, and then at some point we are crying, laughing. So it's another one of those where it's got really sad moments, then such funny moments, such real moments. Again, it has this beautiful kind of concept of like meant to be destiny sort of thing. People live on in different ways. And so for anyone who doesn't know this movie, Minnie Driver plays someone who needs a heart transplant. And then it's kind of a spoiler, but I'm going to spoil it anyway.
It's the first 20 minutes. So.
Yeah. David Duchovny's wife gets in a car accident and passes away. But she's an organ donor, and her heart goes into Minnie Driver, basically.
Yeah.
And then he meets David Duchovny and Minnie Driver meet, and there's just like this instant kind of connection. And Carol O'Connor plays Minnie Driver's grandfather, who's just, oh my God, is he just the sweetest character?
So yeah.
And Robert Loggia is her uncle, and Bonnie Hunt's her best friend. Jim Belushi's Bonnie Hunt's husband. They are so cute and so funny, so real. The way they bicker, but then they're just kissing the next second. And oh my God, he cracks me up so much in this movie. everyone in this movie has good chemistry, not just the leads with the romantic chemistry. They feel like family, they feel like friends. You feel the history between all of these characters. It's so sweet, it's so charming. And I love like I say, I love the group of old guys, how they're always talking and debating things.
Like a Greek
And when
chorus.
they're talking, when they're talking about who's the best male singer, and they're all talking about, who's a Polish singer, who's an Irish singer, and then who's the Italian singer. Well, my family's Italian, so I crack up at Robert Loggia talking about all the different Italian singers. He's like, I'm not bragging, but it's a dynasty basically, because all the other ones only have one. And then Minnie Driver's character is someone. Now, I don't have horrible health problems like she does, but not very often do I feel like I see a character and I see a lot of similarities between a character and myself. I feel like I see myself in her character a lot, minus the health thing, just the way she is, her personality. I don't feel like I see myself on screen that often, but I really felt like I did with her. Okay. Yeah. And cool. And then her and David Duchovny are so sweet together. And it's like Bonnie Hunt did such a beautiful job writing and directing this, and I'm like, why don't you do any more movies? I don't know why, but and she's even funny in it too. I just love this movie so much. I debate which is my favorite from this year, either this one or another movie I have on my list. They both came out in 2000. Okay. The other one probably isn't a little bit above it, but because I put it higher on my list. But yeah, I just adore this movie. And people call it a romantic comedy, and I'm like, I guess it is, but it's sort of a drama too. It's an amalgam. I don't know. It's everything.
Right. It helps that the David Duchovny, his wife's name is Elizabeth, because that's my wife's name. And so when she dies, that hit me pretty hard in a theater, especially when he comes home and he's just he's in shock, right? He's got the blood on his. First of all, you see how good they are together. I love that there's Duchovny. Sorry, I'm all over the place here. Duchovny is one of the people. If you're talking about man crushes, I think David Duchovny and George Clooney are at the top of my list. I just love how self-deprecating they are. That's a big attraction for me in a man. It sounds weird for me saying that, but I love the part where it's Natasha Richardson, I believe, where or Jolie Richardson. It's one of the Richardsons.
It's Jolie Richardson.
She's giving the speech or whatever, and she makes a joke at her husband, and he does this thing where he laughs and he looks at her, he's like he's gonna get back, and you can tell it's a joke. I just think it's really funny. But again, there you see them dancing. He's making her laugh. There's a hard cut. All of a sudden, they're in the emergency room, and she's on a gurney, and he's just when he comes home and he's in shock, and the David Allen Greer character doesn't know what to do. He leaves him alone, and he's just silent. And then it cuts over, and there's the dog. The dog is just looking.
We're waiting.
And he goes over and he sits with him, and then he breaks down. And again, when you look up to somebody, so I look up to David Duchovny. Again, he's not the greatest actor. Like X-Files, I think he's very charming. He's very charismatic. But when he breaks down, that just the thought of him breaking down kills me, because you're seeing somebody that you just think is this strong, stand-up, righteous person that you can rely on, and just that he just loses it. I can't take that part. Right. I love it when it cross cuts, but with Minnie Driver, with her getting the heart, and when her heart starts beating, he wakes up. Like he wakes up and he's hopeful again. It's just something like the universe telling him, just it'll be okay. We're gonna get there, right? I love how it builds that relationship. Yeah, you've got the Carol O'Connor. It's so fun listening to those guys. You can listen to them talk like out of the whole movie. But I love how there's this romance, and they take to him. They take to the Hank character, right? I think that's just, I'm probably getting the names up, but they take to him, and he's already a part of the family. Like when he says, "My wife died," and like because all their wives are dead. Like it's so charming. And you have the Bonnie Hunt and Jim Belushi, their relationship. It's so real, because it feels like they've been married for years. When he takes off his shirt absentmindedly, and it's just her just try not to laugh, and Minnie Driver just loses it. Or the part where it's like, oh, he's married. You find out like the big twist or whatever. Oh, kill him. It's like, no, he has his
so protective.
Yeah. So anyway, so I just Hank Moody, I think, is David Duchovny's character from California. I'm getting the name wrong. So
His name's Bob.
Bob.
His
Okay.
name's Bob. Yeah.
But the way, Bob. Grace says Bob's dead by his heart. Like, and then he's like,
Yes.
oh, so he's not married. Okay.
Okay. You want anything? I know.
Yeah. And then
He's
I
great.
love the twist at the end. We're talking about how P.S. I Love You ends with they don't end up together, but I love how there's a wedding at the end. But it's the Eddie?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not it's one of the old men married to the waitress.
I know.
I love
It's
that
so
kind of
sweet.
twist. Yeah, so
So
charming.
sweet.
And again, this isn't a groundbreaking. Romantic comedies are hardly ever groundbreaking anymore, Marianne. It's it's a hard. So that's why I rely on the chemistry with stuff. But you just want a good, charming, warm, funny. It makes you cry. It makes you laugh. Great, like Return to Me. Great. You had that on your list. I'm like, I'd love to talk about Return to Me. So that's a good choice. Okay,
but it is a different kind. I mean, a different kind of concept. Can't think of another.
It's not true. Yeah, very true.
And
it's
I love that line where Carol Connor's talking to David Duchovny, and she says her heart beat truly for the first time when she met you. Perhaps it was meant to be with you always. I'm like, well, that's beautiful.
Lovely.
So lovely film. And I feel like it's very very underrated. Not a lot of people mention it very much, so people should check it out.
Yeah, please do. Okay, so you're number 12. This is your
my number 12
pick, right?
It's my superhero movie. I had to include. I debated which one to include, but I went with Captain America: The First Avenger because, well, one, Steve Rogers is my favorite character of all the superheroes in the Marvel universe. I love Peggy Carter. I love that character. I love watching a superhero movie that's period. I mean, because how often does that happen? Not very much that I can think of.
It's Joe Johnston. It's the Rocketeer director.
Yeah, and it has a very similar feel to the Rocketeer, which obviously I love. I believe it was the first Marvel in this universe. I think it's the first one I saw.
Interesting.
Like I didn't see Iron Man or Thor. I think I saw, and I'm like, because I knew who Chris Evans was because I watched the Fantastic Four movies. So I'm like, oh, I like him. Let's see what this is like. I'm like, oh, look, it's like period 1940s, World War II sort of thing. This looks fun. And I went with one of my friends, and then I went back and watched the older ones, and then basically watched all of them. But yeah, it has a very similar feel to the Rocketeer with like the period flair and the patriotism that's earnest and not like obnoxious. And his character it's just he's so good. He's such a good soul and so brave, but he's not boring, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people think Steve Rogers is boring, but I don't think so, because I just think he's just a really good person. And the moment that I always go back to in this movie that I think about all the time is when he's at the training camp, when he's still skinny, and he jumps on the grenade.
Yeah, that's the defining moment. You're right.
Yeah. Everyone else ran away, and he jumps on it, and he's like, get away. And he's like, is this a test?
Instinctively, he does that. Yeah. Without thinking.
And they just, Tommy Lee Jones cracks me up. He's like, well, I still don't think he's very good, but whatever.
Still skinny.
And it cuts to Haley Atwell, Peggy. And I think it's almost like that's the moment she started to fall in love with him, honestly, because it's like she just sees who he is at his core. It's not about him being, strong and buff, basically. Obviously, she's attracted to him when he's like that, but she liked him already, sort of thing. For the longest time, I had this as my favorite Marvel movie. I say Endgame is my favorite now, but honestly, they're basically even. They're totally different. One's a singular character origin story. One's like a big bombastic. Every character known to man is in the other movie. So, I just love the style. I love the music. the music is so great. It's Alan Silvestri, and it has that patriotic feel, and then even the credits, the end credits are amazing. You know, it's like someone will go, oh, who cares about end credits? I'm like, I do. They're cool, and they're part of the film. And I remember being so sad when Bucky fell off the train. I'm like, oh no, he's dead, and not knowing that he was going to come back. And I'm like, oh, that's so sad. And I just love all these characters. I love Stanley Tucci. Think he's so fantastic.
Erskine, yep.
Hugo Weaving is really creepy. And,
what a voice.
Yeah.
What a voice, yeah.
Because I'd only seen him as Elrond in Lord of the Rings. That's the only thing I knew him from. So it was kind of nice seeing him as the villain. And what's the other guy? Toby Jones is great, this sniveling kind of guy. And I just love Captain America. I love Steve Rogers. Love the whole tone and feel of the film. And yeah, so that's why I picked. This is my superhero installment for my list. I almost picked Spider-Man 2 as well, but I'm like, but I'll talk about that when I'm done. But okay. This one just edged it out a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. The thing with the MCU, it's interesting when you go back and you watch these movies and realize that they're movies first and foremost. They're not interconnected multiverse delivery systems where you're just in it for the connections. These first 5 movies, actually the Avengers I included in it, they build character. They're about characters who go through arcs. And I don't know if they concentrate so much on that anymore. It's more about the fan servicey stuff and or at least as much as they did this time. These feel like actual movies. There's nothing groundbreaking about it. Like Iron Man literally is a Batman Begins retread. It's got the same plot skeleton, right? Thor is interesting. Again, that's Branagh. It's like you've got the Shakespearean stuff and then the sitcom-y stuff on Earth and in Mexico Town, all that stuff. But what I love about Captain America is you had all these B-tier superheroes that I knew about them. I'd heard about them, but I didn't know how they'd work in live action. I think each of them, Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man, they really knocked it out of the park in making us like these characters. Robert Downey Jr. obviously went a long way towards making Tony Stark likable. Chris Hemsworth, again, very likable as Thor. But Captain America was the one that I was not looking forward to because I always thought Captain America was the most boring character. Like he literally walks around in a red, white, and blue suit and he's saluting. And it's like, why is that a character? Right? That's nothing. But the way that Chris Evans, he embodies this goodness and this self-sacrifice. And that's what makes Steve Rogers. Yeah, we've all been the nerd. It's the Peter Parker thing. And the thing that's great too is before they started overlaying everything with CGI, in the first Iron Man, there may be 2 shots where I'm like, oh, that's obviously CG. And everything else, I'm like, I don't know if that's CG or practical or not, and I'm not going to find out. I don't want the illusion broken. The way that they make Chris Evans they put his head on this scrawny little body is so seamless. I don't know how they did that, and they do it beautifully. And but again, it's all about when he jumps on that grenade, it's again, instinctively, that's him, and everybody recognizes it. Even Tommy Lee Jones begrudgingly recognizes it. But even when he's roided out, even when he becomes the Steve Rogers that we know, he's still got that innate goodness. And the other 2 things that I really love about this that make this maybe the best origin story in the MCU is that, number 1, I love when Superman with Christopher Reeve came out, they basically set the template for every superhero movie that you have the introduction to how he gets his powers, then how he uses his powers in like a montage, and then he fights the villain. It's all the same movie. This one, what I love is it takes a different tact. It has that stuff, but then when he gets his powers and he's able to stop the Nazi spy, right, it pulls back and it doesn't let him be the hero. They take him out of the equation. Tommy Lee Jones is like, I don't want you out there. You're a science experiment. And so they pull Steve Rogers and he does this different thing where he's trying to sell war bonds. Then he realizes it's not enough, and then he goes and gets his mantle. I love all that stuff. It kind of turns the format on its ear. But the other thing that's great is, again, the reason I love Peggy Carter is not just because Haley Atwell is great, which she is. I think she recognizes she's an outsider. You get that from the beginning. She's a woman in the military. She's British. And even the guy that the Tommy Lee Jones character wants as Captain America, even like the guy, he makes fun of her. It's like, oh, we've got British leaders
Yeah.
now. Like who, like she's an outsider. I think she recognizes they got an instant bond that Steve Rogers is also an outsider. So that's what attracts her
Mhm.
to him in the beginning, other than that he's a good selfless kind of hero. So she's a version of Steve. They're both yin and yang, right? But you also have Hugo Weaving as the Red Skull, who is also the yin yang, the opposite side of the coin,
Yeah.
right? Where he's evil, and it's like Erskine says, it takes whatever is strongest in this person and it's going to amplify it. So
Mhm.
again, there's this nice yin yang thing going on with not just, and that's why I buy the Steve Rogers Peggy Carter romances, because it's not just built on how attracted they are to each other,
No.
right? Natalie Portman and Chris Hemsworth fall in love over the course of a day and they're supposed to be destined together. I don't really buy that. I buy here that they recognize that there's something, that they've got a connection even from the very beginning that kind of ties them together. I love that kind of writing. And so you putting Captain America on here, yeah, absolutely, that's a great choice, especially in these first 5 or 6 or however many MCU films that they had. It's a great, this movie made Steve Rogers my favorite character until the Guardians of the Galaxy showed up. Like, and because I thought Captain America was the most boring character, I thought that was the biggest feat this movie achieved, was that it made me love this Steve Rogers character and everything that he stood for.
And it made me fall in love with this kind of movie. I mean, I feel like the Spider-Man movies did that first, the Tobey Maguire ones, but as far as like this universe, I mean, this made me want to go and watch the other ones and invest in it, was because of him. And I'm not someone who ever read comic books. I mean, I vaguely know, comic book characters. I knew Batman and Superman and Spider-Man, but I never heard of Captain America before. I'm like, who's Captain America? I don't know. I'd never heard of that character before. So I'm like, but when I saw like the previews of it, I'm like, ooh, look at this, looks neat. The look of the movie. And like, this looks like yeah. And yeah, like I said, I love Peggy Carter. I love that character. Like, if I'm judging everything that Marvel did, I put Agent Carter, the TV series, like second.
That's good.
I loved it so much. It's still, still in the era, and her character, and especially the first season where you see how much Steve meant to her. And as not just her, Howard Stark too.
Yeah.
How much he cared about him. And if people haven't seen Agent Carter, it's on Disney Plus. Go watch it. It's fantastic. Especially if you like that character. Yeah, it's so good. But yeah, when I'm done, I'll briefly talk about some of these other things. But
okay.
My next one is
number 11. Yes,
11. It's Knives Out. So
great that you've got Chris Evans like in two.
Oh,
different sides
that's
of
funny. Back to back, polar opposite Chris Evans.
Yeah, and he's great in both. Great in both. Yeah.
Yeah, another murder mystery, but I think it's different than Murder on the Orient Express, because for one thing, it's like not it's not period, it's modern.
Right.
And the detective isn't necessarily the main character.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting, that it's through the eyes of Ana de Armas's character. And that Daniel Craig, Benoit Blanc, comes in and he's there. I mean, he's the star, but it's not really through his eyes. It's through her eyes.
He's a catalyst more than a character.
Yeah, that's an interesting take on it, because it's usually just who's the detective and we're going to follow him or her solving the crime, basically. And I'm like, well, this is different. I like this. Again, great cast. I mean, stellar actors. I mean, all playing different sorts of characters.
Rich a-holes.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis and Toni Collette, so great. And she's a ditzy, flighty person. And Don Johnson is great. He doesn't get enough credit for how good of an actor but I think he's a better actor now than when he was younger, honestly.
Yeah.
And I never seen Ana de Armas before, and she's really good. obviously Daniel Craig is so good as Benoit Blanc. I love the accent and the quirkiness and
He's
the
such a cartoon. I don't know
yeah,
why people had a problem with it. It's so fun watching him be
he's
Foghorn
fun.
Leghorn. It's great.
Yeah, and I love the accent. I love when he's singing the Broadway songs in the car. And yeah, and then Chris Evans is so polar opposite. Like coming off of playing Steve Rogers, this is so polar opposite because his character is such a jerk,
Yeah.
such a jerk. And you could tell watching it, he is relishing in it. He is
Loves
just having so much fun playing this part. And he's really good at it. And for anyone who thinks that he doesn't have range, that's not true.
No.
I feel bad for him because I feel like since Knives Out, he hasn't really had anything as good as this.
Yeah.
I think he might need he needs a new agent or something. I don't know, because he has the capability of doing different kinds of parts because he's so good in this.
Well, do you think too, because again, we talked about the star being the draw. Now it's the character that's the draw. So I think he's got shot. I mean, he was in The Materialist, which I haven't seen, but I think he got some pretty good reviews for that. But again, it wasn't a box office takeoff. And that's because Chris Hemsworth is a good actor, but people don't want to see him unless he's as Thor. Like he's not going to be the draw. I think maybe that has something to do with it. We love Chris Evans, but he's not playing Captain America. I hate that mindset. I don't understand that mindset
That's
at all.
sad.
That's what they're thinking.
I mean,
do you
maybe
think that's the case?
It could be. I remember. So this was the first. There's been 3 now, and then they all say Knives Out mystery, even though that's just Rian Johnson that says he goes, I hate that, but they just for marketing. It's just for marketing, basically. This was the only one that was in actual theaters, and the other 2 were Netflix produced them. I think this is Paramount.
Yeah.
I remember I didn't see it in theaters, but I actually I bought it before I saw it.
Good.
I had faith that I was gonna like it, and then I thank God I was right.
Yeah.
And I really love it. I love the feel and the atmosphere of it. It's like feels like cozy, kind of like a nice cozy kind of autumn feel. The house that it takes place in is like, even the Keith Stanfield even talks of, he goes, it practically looks like they live in the board game Clue. I mean, and then the credits have the cards that look like Clue cards, which I found funny.
I love in Glass Onion how they dig even deeper to how bad a game Clue is.
Yes. I mean, I love Clue. It's fun to play, but it's it's not like the greatest game ever.
You can tell why a detective like Benoit Blanc would have a problem with it. It's not it's supposed to work.
If I was ranking all 3 of them, this is still my favorite. I just love the whole feel of it, and and I think it's hilarious how the Christopher Plummer portrait is scowling or like serious, and then all of a sudden at the end it's smiling, and all the different like perspectives. You're like, everyone keeps like being beside him, blowing out his birthday candles, no matter who's telling the story, and it's like, well, which is the truth here? You never know what actually happened, and that's just all that. It's just so interesting and such a clever way of storytelling. And I know Rian Johnson's divisive because of his Star Wars movie, but I like it. I like all the Star Wars movies. I'm weird, I guess. But he's a really good like writer, as far as like movies like this. I watched because I had this movie on one of my Halloween videos. I saw this YouTube video that talks about all these visual clues that follow what is her name? What is Ana de Armas's name? Marta, through the movie. You see the baseball keep moving through the movie, and you think it means nothing. And then at the very end, it helps Jamie Lee Curtis realize that her husband is cheating on her. And I'm like, that is so clever. and so smart. I mean, just things like that just show that he's a great writer. Yeah.
Well, that's great because it serves the murder mystery genre,
Mhm.
right? You're looking for clues. Again, it's very smart writing from that perspective. I will just say, I love The Last Jedi. I love The Last Jedi. That's
Yeah,
all I
I
will say. And it's weird that people will attack me because again, we're talking about lists, right? I just say that I
Mhm.
like a movie and you're going to attack me for it. Mind your own business. Like, tell me like something that you like then. You know what I mean? Like, let's leave that alone. But I I didn't see again, a cool point that you make is, again, it's not how would you market Poirot? Like, would you call Death on the Nile or Murder on the Orient Express mystery? Like, how would you
No.
advertise it? They're all different names, and so
Yeah.
calling it Glass Onion, which I just watched Glass Onion for the first time a couple weeks ago, and I adored it. It's not
That's
on the
good.
same level as this, I just thought it was so fun. It's
It's
one of
very
those
fun.
movies I have a hard time the reason I haven't watched a lot of I don't get to watch a lot of is I don't know if I can sit for 2.5 hours and watch something if I'm
Sure.
not gonna like it. But within 5 minutes of Glass Onion, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna adore this," and I love
Mhm.
that I put that one on. I haven't seen the next one yet, because I have some others ahead of that I wanna see first, but, yeah, again, this is I think it's a better version of Branagh's Poirot because it's not too showy, it's more clever. If they're both very, very well done. I would assume that the Branagh movies, even though I haven't seen, are very well done because it's Branagh,
Mhm.
right? But
Mhm.
if I'm gonna stack these together, I'm more gonna go with the Rian R Johnson thing. I just think it's very clever and it's very small and I was a little smart. I love that the Marta character, again, she's kind of looking up at these rich know-nothings, right? That
Mhm.
think they have a place and they don't. And it literally ends with her basically usurping their power and she's standing on the top level looking down at these people who are
Yep.
now beneath her. I love that visual. I love
Mhm.
again, you said that Blank is like just the catalyst for this. He's not really the main character. I love how that continues in Glass Onion that he's not the guy that needs to solve
Mhm.
an inner problem. He's just there and he's in a way he's even funnier in the second one. But I don't know. I love with Ocean's 11. Yeah, I like Ocean's 11 better than this because I like the humor better, but I love this is a good comfort, fun mystery. There's
Yeah.
nothing it's deep enough. I don't know if that makes any sense. It
Yeah.
works on just a great level, and it's not too showy. Branagh, you realize, oh, he's directing and he's telling us that he's directing, but Rian Johnson is more, I'm just gonna give you a good solid story and you're just gonna take what you can from it. I think he serves the murder mystery stuff really well.
Mhm.
So very well
And
done.
well, that's why I have this one higher because if I'm picking, this one I like better. But um, and you talk, yeah, that final scene is so satisfying, and it's so funny where that one of the very first scenes you see that mug, and then she's holding it, and it just says "My house."
Uh-huh.
I don't think that is so satisfying because these people just turned on her so quickly, and she didn't do anything
Yeah.
wrong.
Because it's a class struggle. That's all that
Yeah,
it's about. That's the
yeah.
only thing that makes them different in their eyes. Yeah.
Mhm. I really like, the young girl, oh, what is her name? Catherine Langford, I think is her name. She's literally, I feel like the only character who seems genuine and,
Mhm.
like, genuinely, like, actually cares about her, and, because she's like, "I'm so sorry, they made for what I did," and I'm like, you actually believe her as opposed to anyone else if they apologize. I don't think I would,
Mhm.
but her, I do, yeah, great movie, yeah. Uh